Wise Woman Arts. Hi. And this is my first show. It's at the Rock Family Gallery at the Mission Arts Center.
Okay, so let's go around and see what you got here, Wendy. Everything's so beautiful.
Thank you. This is, I took a photo in the summer of some of my pieces together. They look lovely like that.
They do look lovely. Oh, look at, you got so many nice things.
Thank you. The canvas was a gift, so I wanted to figure out something I could paint on it. And I had it sideways on my wall for months. And when I asked my husband to put the wire on it, he held it up like this. And he still put the wire the way I wanted it, but when it got to the gallery, they hung it like this too.
Well, it looks like it's meant that way.
I think so.
Then.
It must be meant this way.
Yes.
It amused me.
And look at these.
Yeah. This had been out in my garden all summer, and these are basically like a reflection on life.
Wow. You said your work is called Art in Chaos. What was
Art
it?
Within Crisis.
Within Crisis. Can you explain that one?
Well, prior, I had been painting stones for about 6 years, but I always painted them really no bigger than your palm. And I gifted them, a lot of them, and I sold them at markets, and I gifted them to fundraisers. And then when the lockdown began and I recognized I wasn't going to be doing any markets and my market table was full of stones, I realized I had lots of large river stones in my yard, and I would like to paint those because I would never have painted them if I was preparing for markets. I can't carry them around.
Right.
So I started painting them, and the first ones stayed out in the garden and they had their meanings, and then they got bigger, and I got the idea to paint the grandfather teachings.
Wow.
I wanted to learn more about them. I wanted to be able to tell my children more about them because we're a home learning family.
Yeah.
And that was a really interesting experience to paint those stones.
And can I just say that I have some of your stones at home and they mean the world to me, because the one I got from the wild salmon that you had put the wild salmon on, and I love salmon, and it was directed to me and I was so excited. Yeah.
That was so beautiful. I had painted those to use for a fundraiser with Eddie, but clearly the fundraiser wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And they had sat there on my don't sell display in my work area. And just sitting there, I was like, well, something's going to come that these are going to be needed somewhere. And then you told me you were looking for mullein to gift to the elders. So I made all the packages, and you clearly got the perfect one. It was
I
just
did.
So much synchronicity.
I thought maybe you had known that I would get that one, but you couldn't possibly.
I knew, but I didn't know.
You didn't know.
No.
It was one of those coincidences.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at this one here. Let's move along and just get all these things
It's
and
a
look
really
at.
big,
Wow.
and it's shaped of a heart.
It is.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Naturally shaped as a heart. And this was kind of a love of nature reflection.
Yeah, Garden of Hearts. Oh, look at these. The colors are so beautiful.
Thank you. This is part of the sacred geometry of the Merkaba, which is used to manifest.
Yeah,
So it's like the idea of manifesting trust.
beautiful. Everything is so beautiful. And I guess every rock you see something in it before you do it, or do you?
Depends on the piece. Really depends on the piece. When it came to like the beaver there, that you were,
This one?
I went to the river and carried back some really big stones with my girls one day when the water was really low. And I knew by then I had already done the bear and the turtle. I knew I was going to do the grandfather teachings.
Yeah.
And that sat outside, and then my bubble friend and I looked at it and we're like, well, clearly that's beaver.
Oh.
Because
so
we
you
could see
got-
the beaver tail
Yeah.
in the shape of the stone.
Wow, that's beautiful. How many people have you had so far, about roughly?
I'm not sure.
Can I sign this then?
Oh, please do.
I'll do it after because I
Yeah.
want to take time on the video, but Go ahead and just, oh, what does this one say?
So this is Bear, and this is the first grandfather teaching one I did where I really was writing out all the teachings that go with Bear. And then I went on to Turtle, and because it's Turtle Island, my reflection really got back to the we are one idea, because I feel we really need to join as one to solve the crisis
Yeah,
that's happening with
That's
the
very
salmon and
true.
the environment. If we have our focus beyond the differences and
the division.
division, it's harder to find the solution. I listened to the CBC the other day. A 15-year-old girl, she writes to Trudeau every week.
Really?
Yep.
She doesn't give up.
No, she doesn't give up. She's been doing it all through 2020, always about the environment.
Yeah,
And she said, I see two timelines. One where we can stop the division and the bigotry and the, all those divisive words and create solution.
yeah,
And one which is not a timeline you want to really describe or put energy into,
yeah,
where we continue with this division.
yeah.
So
Well, I must live on the timeline because I live on the
Right.
one where I see the good in everybody and
Exactly.
everything, and I want to stay there. Thanks.
yeah, me too. I don't even want to describe the other timeline.
I know, but
'cause
we know we have to recognize it's there,
it's
right?
there,
We
and we
don't
need
have to
to
give it
stay
any
off it.
energy.
Exactly.
This is beautiful. Be here
Thank
now.
you.
Wow, that's
Ram
meditative.
Dass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last December, November, Ram Dass died.
Oh.
And there was a little red flag in me saying, okay, so why did he leave now? He went, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was a philosopher through the 60s, 70s and forward. And he had a stroke and he was still out there speaking, and then he passed. And I thought, what are you trying to leave before what happens?
Yeah,
know?
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what have we got here? Believe. That's beautiful. Wow. You use dot artwork the same as the Aboriginals in Australia, right?
It's
That's
similar. I find I try not to look at too much of theirs because I don't want to incorporate it. And I
Right.
find even if I look at other dot mandala artists,
Uh-huh.
I'll wake up seeing those too.
Uh-huh.
So I don't want to look at other work. But the Aborigines in Australia, they're telling stories
Yes, they are.
through patterns.
Yeah.
And they're using the dots, and I've tried to understand where that comes from, and there's many different theories
Yeah.
of how it got to Australia, or if it has always been there. I couldn't find solid evidence, but I do see that they're telling dream stories.
Yeah. They
Following
totally
it.
are.
Yeah.
From what I understood, from what I heard from an elder there,
Yeah.
is I believe that they used it before they had words. They used it to draw in the sand as to where they were. Location. It was a location thing
Right.
as to where things could
And
be
they-
found.
That makes sense. And they'd
Yeah.
be using dots.
So I don't remember the whole story because it
No.
was hard to get the whole story in a short time at a gallery there.
Right.
But I totally understood the concept. I think yours are absolutely, wow, look at this guy.
Thank
That's
you.
gorgeous. It's the
Thank
4
you.
colors too, the 4 colors and the 4 directions. Beautiful. These are so beautiful. And I'm so happy that I get to see you here and you
Oh,
can
me
explain them
too.
yourself because I just like to get your own version of what everything means and what it is, and they're just absolutely beautiful.
You may remember in the spring, several Indigenous people were killed by the police.
Mm.
So this is their names and when they were killed. But I found this so heartbreaking that I painted the other piece kind of to soothe my mind.
Well, I think what we'll do then is end on this one. Can you explain this, how you,
This was to kind of soothe me, to bring back the focus on the love of the planet
rather than what we lost?
rather than what we lost. Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to end. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Sherry.
Wendy. It's great to be here and to hear your beautiful stories and see your art, and I hope to share this with everybody I know.
Thank you.
And if they can make it, even
It'd be
better.
so lovely.
Okay, thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.